Welcome to NameTech channel. I hope this video finds you well. This is CSS Crash Course Part 5. Remember, we have Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4. Also, we have the HTML videos, several of them. But today we are going to discuss on the CSS combinator, Pseudo-class, the Pseudo-elements, opacity, and the navigation bar. We shall begin with the combinators. But I guess before we get started, please subscribe to this channel and also like this video. So let's go to our text editor. Remember, I'm using the Visual Studio Code, whichever text editor you're using, but I always prefer the Visual Studio Code. So actually these are the codes that I've used to create those lines there. But now I'm assuming there's someone who is this is their first time to code. So let me just delete and begin afresh. Also with the CSS, let me just delete and save so that we may begin together. So now this is my HTML, this is my CSS, different documents. Remember how to save a HTML document. The key thing is this extension .html. Also with the CSS, the key thing is this extension .css. So now in the HTML, just write the exclamation mark and then I click enter. If you are using the Visual Studio Code, if you are using Sublime Text, you can just write HTML and then you click enter. So now in this heading, let's give it something like H, not really, this is CSS Crash Course. Crash Course, yeah, course, Crash Course Part 4, Part 5, actually Part 5, yeah, we have Part 4, so this is Part 5, and then save. So now we are going to begin with the before then let me refresh on the browser. Also always ensure you save before refreshing. So now this title will just appear at the tab section here, but not at the page. So if you want it to appear at the page, you must write it on the body section. So just copy and here just write h1 and then paste it there, and then when you save, Ctrl+S to save, and then here refresh, you can see it will now appear on your browser, on your browser, on your page. But now today I don't want to talk about this stuff, so this was just to remind us who didn't understood on HTML. But now we want to begin with the CSS combinators. Actually CSS combinators, combinator is something that explain the relationship between the selectors. Actually, the CSS selectors can contain more than one symbol selector. Between the symbol selectors, we can include something like a combinator. On the same selector, you can also add a combinator that accompanies that selectors of yours. So we have 4 different combinators in CSS. We have the descendant selector, which you just include the space, and then we have the child selector, which we use the symbol for the angle bracket for greater than, and then we have the adjacent sibling selector, which we use the plus symbol. Also we have the general sibling selector, which we use this symbol here. Let me just write for you this symbol here. I don't know the name, but the symbol that that symbol. So without much ado, let's begin with the descendant selector. The descendant selector matches all the elements that are descendant of the specified elements. So let's create some some items here in the body, some heading, some heading. So just write paragraph, not heading, actually paragraph, P for paragraph, and then let's write lorem 10 to create some 10 text. Let's say lorem 5 to create 5 words, and then let me just copy I hate typing, so let me just copy and then I paste on this line, copy, paste. Let me have 5 of them, actually 5. So let me just copy again, and then now in this other line, paste, Control plus V to paste. So now having your lines there, so now I want to separate these there are 5 paragraphs, but now these 3 lines, let me have a div between them. So div, so let me just cut them, and then have my div here, my div, and then in the div, let me now paste them there. So these actually these are the same paragraph, but the difference to distinguish them, these one are enclosed inside the div, and then the rest outside, they are independent. So now to talk about the descendant selector, actually the descendant selector, as I told you earlier, matches all the elements that are the descendants of a specified element. So guys, I have 5 paragraphs here, but the first 3 are enclosed in a div, and then the second one it's outside the div. So now we want to affect the descendant selector, and as I told you that the descendant selector will match all the elements that are are the descendant of a specific element. So let's go to our CSS so that you may understand this stuff very well. So in the CSS now, I just write a div, and then a space, and then you write now p, and then you put the 2 colons, and say now the background color. You can use anything like color, anything, but now to distinguish them, I'm going to use the background color, and let me say something like chocolate or a coral, and then click Control plus S, and then here refresh, Control plus R to refresh. So guys, you can see it has affected the descendants of these selectors of the div. So everything in the div is now affected, but the ones that are outside is not affected. But the paragraph and everything is just the same, but the difference that these 3 elements, they are enclosed in a div, so they are the descendants of a div. When you affect it, it will affect the rest of the stuffs. So now let's talk about another stuff like the child selector. So with the child selector, we use the symbol for angle brackets. So the angle bracket for greater than, actually greater than. So now we have these in our HTML. We have actually this but now we have 3 lines here for paragraph, but now I want to make this this 3rd line inside the div, this 2nd line, to have a section. For example, let me say section, and then let me just cut this side, this end, this plus tag, and then I paste it below it. Yeah, so it's just inside the div. Now I've added a section there. So now this section will not be affected because we are using the selector. So it's going to affect only the it's going to affect just the child selector. The child selector selects all elements that are the children of our specified elements, the children's. So for our case, let's go to our CSS now and say let's use this div, but now let's change the let's add a symbol for greater than, angle bracket for greater than. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one. So now having your codes written like that, so and then click Control plus S, and then here refresh, Control plus R, refresh. So guys, you can see it exclude the 2nd line, a 2nd paragraph, because it's not part of it. It's not the children of a div, because it has a section here, That's why it has it has separated out, it has filtered it out. So it just includes these two paragraphs, which are the children of this stuff. So this now the child selector. So let's talk about another selector, which is adjacent sibling selector. So now with the adjacent sibling selector is used actually to select an element that is directly after another specified element. So let's try to code here in our HTML now. But now let me create some lines here. Some lines here. Let me copy this part. Yeah, copy, and then here let me just paste. But now let me remove this section part. Yeah, to be just like that. Yeah, to be this way. Then I'm sure you've saved. As I've told you earlier, that the adjacent sibling selector, we use the symbol actually plus symbol, and the selector is used to select an element that is directly after the specified element. So let's go to our CSS now, and then we change this symbol for the angle bracket for greater than, and then replace with the plus. So it is going to affect the selector, the element which is directly after a specified element. So just click Ctrl plus S to save, and then refresh, Ctrl plus R to refresh. So guys, you can see it distinguishes it out, but now it just picks the stuff which is just after the element. So remember our main remember this div. Where is it? This div, where is it? I don't see in our HTML. So you can see guys, it just picked the one which is just after these but let me try to have another stuff here. Just click Ctrl plus C to copy, and then here paste, then save, refresh, refresh, and the browser just refresh. Yeah. So guys, you can see just pick the items which is just these are after these are main element. Remember, if you have a div, it will not be affected. Just pick the one which is after it. So if I remove the div, you'll see the change there. Then I click Ctrl plus S to save, and then here refresh. So guys, you can see just pick the one which is just after that div. Don't pick the children of the div, but the element which is just after that selector, after that div element. So let's discuss another another thing on the same combinators, which is now the general sibling selector, which we use this symbol. Go to our CSS now, and we use this symbol. I don't know the name of the symbol, but just like that. So this one it selects elements that are next that are sibling of the of a specified selector. Actually it selects all elements that are the next sibling of a specified selector. So without much ado, let's try to code so that I may see what I'm talking about. Actually we have written. So let's go to our text to our browser, and then refresh. So guys, you can see it just pick the elements which is just next to the siblings. So guys, you can see this was our main the child, but now the sibling, but now it picks the one which is just next to it. Remember it took the one which is just next to it. Yeah. So guys, this is now how simple those combinators are. They're just simple like this. So but now we want to talk about another thing which is very useful, which is now the pseudo class. We want to go to another item, which is the pseudo classes. So what are the pseudo classes? The pseudo classes is used to define the state of an element. Like if you have a link, you can make it like, if it's unvisited, to be in a specific state or a certain state. If you visit it, to be in a certain state, or if you have on it, changes to another state. So basically these are, the pseudo class is used to specify or to define a special state of an element. It can also be used to style an element when you use a mouse over it, or a hover, or the visited or unvisited link, to style a visited and unvisited link differently, or actually to style any element, an element when it goes on focus. We're going to discuss all of the above just in a while. So let's begin with the link so that you may understand very well. So link, do you recall the tag for link, which is just a, and then the hyperreference. Let's use the one for Google. So hypertext transfer protocol with a secure extension, and then for 2 forward slashes, and then www world wide web dot google.com. So the text of the link, let me say this is a link, this is a link. So by default with the HTML, the visited link will be the unvisited. So ensure first of all you've saved, ensure you've saved in this other end, Control+S, and then on the browser you click Control+R, Control+R to refresh. So basically by default the unvisited link is always underlined in blue. This one I visited earlier, that's why it's something like purple. But by default the unvisited link is always blue. The visited it is purple like this one. When you visit it regularly, it will be an active link. Actually it will be red. So you can see when I click on it, it turns to red when it's active. So now we want to style it. So that you may see the changes that I've been talking about. So now go to, let me add some comments here, comments, and then let me say pseudo what, the pseudo classes, the pseudo classes, and then so these are the comments in CSS. They'll not appear in the browser, but they just used to make the developers or the coders identify the tags or the position, or actually to arrange their items or the codes very well, so that they may edit anywhere they feel to edit without struggling to find those codes. So now having the our comment there, so now we want to change the state of that link. So now the visited link, unvisited link, we use the a tag as our main selector, and then these are the pseudo class. Now here is a link, and then actually combinator is link, and then the state of this link, which is unvisited, let it be so color, let's give it something like red, and then the other one, which is when you have on it when you mouse on it, it should be a and then a hover, and then not really, you put the these curly braces and say give it another color, like let's say green. Actually, you must first of all begin with the property, which is color. Color, actually color, give it something like maybe a cyan. Yeah, cyan. And then another state is when you're it's inactive. Not really. First of all, we must go with the visited. The visited is just a colon, then visited. You can change the state to be something like maybe hot pink color. First of all, must begin with the property, which is color, and then give it something like, say, hot pink. And then the visited, remember it must go in this order to be effective, and otherwise it will not have any effect on your browser. So now just write a, and then now active, which is now active when you click on it. When you click on it, let's give it a color. So color to be let's say low green, then click Ctrl+S. Always ensure you've saved before refreshing on the browser, so just click Ctrl+R to refresh. So guys, you can see we have changed the state of this link. So like when it's not visited, it is hot pink. When I click on it, is cyan. When I press on it, when I click on it, it will turn to a different color, like it turns to green, something green. Yeah. So when you hover, when it's unvisited, and so forth. But this one is visited, that's why it's not displaying the state of a visited link. So it should be something like it should be something like a red, but now it is hot pink because we have visited. But let's actually change the URL here, and let's choose another one for let's say www hot, let me say www dot let me say or let me give it a hash, just a hash, just like that. Then I click Ctrl+S, and then here just refresh. So guys, you can see the state of this link is red. When I click on it, it will turn to hot pink. So when I have on it, it turns to cyan. When I click on it, you can see it changes to a different color. So guys, this is now how you can simply style your link to be for different states. So now we want to talk about the pseudo classes and the HTML classes. So now the pseudo class is the one that I've talked to you about. So now we want to have the one with the HTML, with the class HTML class. So let me just delete this one. And then on my let me save. Then on my CSS, let me just remove these tabs. So here I have two elements here, but now to distinguish them, they are unique, they are similar, but now to distinguish them, we will need to have the class. We must add a class there. So to add a class, just write class and say, let's say something like when you highlight on it, highlight, when you highlight or when you hover. So let's go to this. Let's go to our CSS now. Go to your CSS, and then now say a for our link, then highlight. Is it written like that? Highlight. I guess that's the spelling, right? But now when you hover, and then open and close the curly braces, and then now before then you can see this text editor is bringing the underline here to show that there is an error. So here it should be what? It should be, you know, it should be a actually not a colon, it should be a like that. And then now here you just write something like a color. Let's give it something like color to be, let's say, use the simple one which is red. And then let's maybe make some text, adjust in the font sizes, font size. Let's give it something like 40 pixel, or let's say 3 em. Remember, by default the browser usually have 1 em, which is 16 pixel. So if we say it 3 pixel, 3 em is like 16 times 3, which is, I don't know, 40 something, right? 32 plus 16, 40 something. I don't know mathematics, so let me say 40. Let me say 3 em. So 3 em, and then Control plus S to save, and then on the browser just click Control plus R to refresh, and then let me zoom in so that you may see very well. But now on the HTML, let me make some break tag here, break tags. So BR, and then save. So here let me refresh. So here you have two unique the two similar links, but now to distinguish them, try to hover on it. So when I have on this first one, it's just normal, but when I have on this second one, you can see the size is changed, the color is changed. So this is now how you can style you know, your links or your item, your elements with the classes, HTML class. So when I have on it, you can see the state changes. I'm pretty sure you can see the state changes when I have on it. So you can style any set of it. But now let's go to another thing. We don't want to waste much time on it. You can do practice on it as you please. But now let's go talk about another thing. Let me delete this div here, these divs, and then below this one, let me say so remember, you can also have on a div, not necessarily to be a link. You can have a link, a div or any other element, HTML element. So like, let me use an example of a div. So with the div, let me say div. With the div and then give me, so let me say have on me, to see changes, have on me to see changes. Then just click Control plus S to save, and then go to your CSS, to your CSS and say div. Remember the selected div, div. Then now open and close the curly braces, and then I'll say background color. Background color, give it something like which color pleases you. Let me choose any, and then so that's background color. So color itself, let me say white. And then the padding, let's give it something like padding. Remember, padding is the space around that text. That text, if you have a box, actually the border, so the space between that surround that text. So if you give it something like a 25 pixel, let's give it something like 25 pixel, and text align should be in the center. So text align, let's make it center, always center. So now I want to change the set when you have on it, so go to the div, but now when you have so div colon hover. So when you hover, let's change the state. So the div when you have let's make it background. Let's change the background color. The initial one for the background color for this initial stuff was spring green, but now here let's change our color to be something like I like blue. Let me say blue. Then I click Ctrl plus S and to save, and then here just to refresh, or I click Ctrl plus R. So guys, you can see some changes here. It doesn't have to be the link alone. You can also have on a div to see some changes. You can see when I have on it, it gives another color. So this now you can style a div. You can change the state of a div to be different, to be with different states. So I have two different divs here. That's why I have also another div here at the bottom there. So this now how you can style a div, but let me I always forget to add some break tags. So BR, so the elements appear close to each other. Control plus R, yeah, at least. So guys, you can see the link we have styled it, but also a div now we have styled it. So basically this is now how you can style a div. Also on the same note, we can also style the symbol tooltip hover when you have on perhaps if you have a paragraph, but you want when someone have a mouse on it, that's when the text will appear. So you can also style that. So so let's try to talk about, let me add another div here, or let me delete this one. Let me delete this div, or let me say go to my HTML. So in this div and on the same div, but now let me add some paragraph there. So P, and let me say perhaps let me say what a text, any text. So like let me say nice to meet you, nice to see you, any text you wish. So and then save, Control plus S to save, and then now on this CSS. So now in this div, let's say in this div, in this div, when you have on it, so we are going to include the p here, the p. So the display, let's change the display to be the display. So let me change the display, this display to be block, yeah, when you have a, but now here are the paragraph. Let me change here p to be p for that paragraph. So the state should be display should be none, display should be none. But background color, padding is okay, and then yeah, so just click Control plus S to save, and then here just refresh, Control plus R to refresh. So guys, you can see you don't see any text here, but you can see this guy here say that I have on me to see I have on me to see changes. So when I have on it, you can see there is a change here. So you can see when I have on this text, this one you can see this guy saying nice to meet you. So this is now what is called the it's called the the toolkit hover. And then now let's try to talk about another stuff, which is the child pseudo class, the first child pseudo class. So with this one, it will now affect the child of another element, the first child of another element. So for our case, let's create some paragraphs here to our HTML, actual HTML, and then now let's say div, actually div. Then I click enter, and then here let's add some paragraph p, and then lorem 5. Actually, let me undo lorem 5, and then let me just paste Control plus what, C to save. Control plus C to save, and to copy to copy, Control plus C to copy, then V to what is it, to paste to paste here. So now I have 5 paragraphs again. So now the first one, it is in a div. The first one is a div, the second one it's outside the div. So now perhaps let me remove this first line. So we have 4 paragraphs here now, 4 lines here for paragraph. So the first one is enclosed in a div, the second one is outside the div. So now we want to style the state, or we want to change the state of the first child. So we want to use the first child to change the state of this stuff. So let me just delete these ones. So let me delete this one. Let me undo first of all, and then yeah, let me delete. So so now p, write p, just write p, then a colon, then when you write first child, and the first child, and then I give it a color like so color, let it be, let's say blue, then control plus S to save. So it will affect the first color. So control plus R to save. My text not appearing here. It seems I didn't save. Ensure you have saved. You can see the state here. It say unsaved. Unsaved here. You can see unsaved. So ensure you save. Control plus S is to save, and then here refresh. Control plus R to refresh. So guys, you can see it's now affecting the oh, there's something here that is strange. There's something here strange. So we have the div here, which is now causing some effect. We have another div here that's causing the effects on our page here. So just remove it, and then let it be the way it is. So now let me just copy these lines, and perhaps let me paste it here. Yeah, control plus S to save, and then here refresh. Control plus R to refresh. So guys, you can see it's now affecting the first child of an element. So like you can see it's only affecting the this first line in each item. So like we have, yeah, so it can also affect the text. It affects only the first line if you use the first child and so forth. So we have, you can as well use the first child, the pseudo classes. You can also use the match the first class. Like I can use the italic to make perhaps the first word to be italic, first word of each items to be italic, and so forth. Or you can also match all, and there are so many. But for now, I want us to stop it there, and then go to another stuff, to another item that we may discuss, which is the pseudo elements. So with the pseudo elements, just like the pseudo classes, but now this affects only the element, the parts of an element. So this pseudo class, the pseudo elements used to style the specified parts of an element. For example, it can be used to style the first letter or a line of an element, or it can also be used to insert content before or after the content of an element. So without much ado, let's try some elements, some practicals here to our text editor. So let me say, let's say we want to make the first line have some changes there. So before then, let me go to my CSS here, and then let me add some text. Say Lorem, and then to this other Lorem. Remember, these text editors usually have those texts, so I just like to Lorem, and then it generates some text. And to save time, because this is just it's not we are just discussing practical, it's not the real Lorem. For the sake of class, or for the sake of studying, we are using this free text on this text editor. So now we have saved. So go to our CSS now, and then write the P and then the two columns here, and then now first line. Use first line, and then you can add the color brackets there. Like I can say the color, you can change the color of our first line to be something like, let's say this color, this the chartreuse, and also you can also change the state, or the font variant. let's say font variant to be, if you say small caps, it will, because it's already small caps, it will turn to the upper cases. So when you click Control plus S to save, and then I here refresh, Control plus R to refresh. So guys, you can see it's affecting the each line of every paragraph. As you can see, yeah, it's affecting the first class of each paragraph. Remember, these are the ones they are single lines, that's why it's just the way it is. Just perhaps let me remove them. Let me remove them so that they are just single lines. Remember, it affects the first line of a paragraph, but already it is a single paragraph, a single line. So that's why it's not pleasing. Yeah, so you can see it's very, very nice. So also you can also style the first letter of each word. So go to your CSS, and then now instead of first line, you can also use the first letter. You can make the color to be, also you can make the color to be something like let's use red. Yeah, and then a Control plus S to save. And also perhaps let's change the text size, font size, to be very big, 3 EM. Then click Control plus S to save, and then here refresh. So guys, you can see our first line, our first letter of each word we have capitalized, and it's very big in the color, so we have changed. So with the Pseudo-elements, you can style it in any how you want it to be. So you can style the first letter, and also we have the ones with the element, the Pseudo-elements with the HTML classes. You can also classify them using the the CSS class. For example, if you have several divs or a paragraph, so you can use the class to distinguish them and style them to be the way you want. You can you can add some those pseudo elements after the afterwards, after the pseudo elements. Also the markers, the selection. There are so many, but now we don't want to waste time on that stuff, so let's go to another thing. So let's try to talk about the opacity. The opacity is sometimes transparency. So opacity is basically transparency of something. So to do that, let me go to my HTML. Let me use an example of an image. Remember, the tag for image is img. Then the source of my photo is just photos. The folder is photos, and then the name of the photo, let me choose my logo. Alternative text, there's no need here, but I can say height, width to be let's say here's something like let's say 100 by 100. So the height to be also 100. So let me copy this one, these lines, and copy. Click Control plus C to copy, and then here just paste. Yeah. So, and then I click Control plus S to save, and then here refresh, Control plus R to refresh. So guys, you can see I have my 3 images here. They are my logos. So you can see their colors. The initial color is 100%. You can see it very clearly. But now go to your CSS, and then now say the img, and then say opacity, you change it to be, let's say, 0.5. remember, opacity or transparency ranges between 0 to 1. 0 to 1, so it cannot surpass 1, it cannot go below 0. Actually 0 is the last one, last one. So 0.5 is like the medium. So 1 is like actually opaque. You can, and actually it's like there's no transparency there. And then 0 define the highest or 100% transparency. So when you say opacity 0.5, it's like halfway between, it ranges between the transparency or opaque or visibility or visible. So just click Control plus S to save, and then here refresh, Control plus R. So guys, you can see our images are fade. Their transparency has been lowered, the opacity. But now this second line, let's say IMG, but now with the when you have on it, when you have let's give it opacity to be 1.0. remember, they must be in two units, 1 decimal. It must always have 1 decimal. So when you click Control plus S to save, and then here refresh, so guys, you can see when I have on it, the transparency changes to 1. So guys, you can do practice on it. You can style, you can change the transparency of a color, the text, or whichever thing you want, the backgrounds, and so forth. But now this is a crash course, I'm not going into details. So let me go to another item, perhaps the last one. It was navigation bar. So the navigation bar used to, to help the users of your page, of your website, to move to different places or pages without struggling or wasting a lot of time. So it's always good to have the the navigation bars. So now let me again delete these tabs. Actually no, let me undo. I just want to remove this section in the body, not everything. Let me just delete this part, then save. Also on the CSS, Control A, and then delete everything, so that you may understand, so that those codes may not confuse you again. So now here's my HTML. We haven't written anything in the body section. So now we want to have some navigation bars. So the navigation bars, we use the list of links. We use the list of links to make those navigation bars. So the navigation bar needs a standard HTML as a base. So the link, I'm using the another list, and then inside the another list, let's have the list itself. So in the list, again, inside here in this first list, let's have the A tag. Actually the A the A for link A. Actually it should be between here A. So you write here A. So because we are just testing, it's not a real, but here in the hyperreference you can have your URL, but because we don't have, you can use the hashtag and say, for example, home, and then in this text, let's say home section. Let me just copy these lines and paste. Let me have 4 of them. So So now let me change here to be blocks, then here also blocks, here let me say contacts, yeah. And then here let me say about. So by default it will have the bullets on your page. When you save and refresh on your page, it will have a bullet. It will appear just as the list, Ctrl+R. So you can see it just appears the list. So there is some error somewhere about. So perhaps there is an error somewhere. So conduct, is it perfect? Oh, I don't. Oh yeah, okay, it's just perfect, just good the way it is. So just Ctrl+R to refresh. So guys, you can see the links. I have visited these items, that's why it's appearing like purple, but basically the unvisited link is always blue. When you visit it will be purple. The active one it is red. So you can see when I click on it, it becomes red. You can see red, it appears red. So now let me go to my text editor. So now we want to make we want to style this navigation bar. We are going to begin with the navigation bar with the vertical navigation bar. Before then, let's remove those those bullets. They are called bullets, I guess. So UL, and then and then let me say this style type to be none, and then margin to be 0. We don't have to put units because 0 is always 0, even if you use kilometers or miles or whichever unit you want. 0 is always meant to be 0. And padding, let's give it 0 again, and then click Ctrl+S to save, and then and the browser always refresh. So guys, you can see it's what we have removed the bullets. So now we want to make this appear as a navigation bar, but now we want to focus first of all with the vertical navigation bar. So to begin with, let's here in our CSS let's try to style it. So li, but now if we want to target the a tag, and the a tag and the display, let's say display should be block, actually block, yeah, block. And then perhaps let's say to add some width here. So width, and let's give it something like let's say 70, let's say 100, or let's say 80 pixel. And then our background color, let's give it background color, let's give it something like a color here. Let me choose a color here, dark gray. And then I click Control plus S to save, and then on the browser just refresh, Control plus R. So guys, you can see I have added some text. So this it's a block level, and that's why you can see when even if I click on this other end, you can see it's still affecting the those links. So but now we want to customize it and make it appear, you know, very beautiful, like a complete navigation bar, like when you have on it to have you know, some different colors and so forth. So we are going to make you know, when I have on it to have some, you know, different colors. So we use the li and then a, but now with an extension of hover. Open, then close the curly braces. So when I have on it, it should be as, let's say, background color. The other one was which color? When I have on it, let me say, let me choose a color here. Which color is good here? You don't see. Let me use green and say green, background color to be green, and then color itself, let's say color should be something like white. Let's use just white. Then control R to refresh. So guys, you can see when I have on it, you can see it is it's turning to which color, but this color is not pleasing to me. Let me choose another color. Control plus S to save, and then I refresh. So at least this color, yeah, this color. But now we want to remove those lines and those underlines, those text decoration. So in this li, let me say text decoration to be none. Yeah, to be none. Also, let's add some padding here. Padding. With the padding, let's say 8 pixel. 8 pixel by 16 pixel. Yeah, it's 8 pixel by 16 pixel. Also here, and then here in this UL, let's add some width to be let's say 200 pixel. Then I click Control plus S to save, and then I here refresh, and the browser just refresh, Control plus R to refresh. So guys, you can see when I have on it, it's actually a menu, actually a navigation bar, like for blogs, contacts, about us, and so forth. So we are trying to make a simple navigation bar, but now we want to at least make it appear very you know, very beautiful. You can as well add some border. You can as well add some border on this on this navigation bar. Like you can say to add some border, just add some border. Just go to your CSS here and say in this list, is it yeah, this first one and say border, but I always don't do I don't like borders, but if you wish you can say solid and say 1 pixel, and then say color to be color, let it be black, default is black, then I refresh, control plus R to refresh. So actually it's now affecting this. Let me copy, cut, just cut, and then I paste it here, then control plus S to save a, control plus R to refresh. So guys, you can see it's now affecting this, but I always don't like this stuff, border thing. So that was all about the the vertical. So let's try to talk about the horizontal. The navigation bars. So with the horizontal navigation bar, we are going to introduce the inline list item. So we are going to change the state, the display of this stuff to be to make it to be an inline. So we are going to say to make it an inline, we use the display inline. So we are going to say the first of all UL, and then open and close the curly braces and say this first line list style type. List style type to be none, not to be none, actually none, should be none, not square. And then and the next line margin should be always 0, 0, and then padding always 0, 0, yeah. And then in this other line, let's say in the LI, let's change the status to be what LI, and then the display should be inline, yeah. And then I click control plus S to save, and then now on the browser just refresh. So guys, you can see we have changed the status of this this list is now it's now actually horizontal. But now I want to stay this this list to be something like a navigation bar, so that it may not just be the way it is. So we are going to start to add some color to remove the decorations here and so forth. So to our CSS now, let me first of all delete so that we may begin together with you. So in the first line, we're going to use the URL and then another list, and then open and close the curly braces and say list style type. List style type to be none, always none. Margin, as I told you earlier, should be 0, 0. Padding should be 0, and the overflow should always be hidden. And then the background color, let's get a color, any color, like let me search a color here that might be that perfect. Let me just use this one, these gray ones, dim gray. And then yeah, I'm pretty sure that part is okay. So let's go to the list itself. So we are going to use the float to be left. float to be left, because on they want to be in the left hand side, so float to be left. And then the element, the you know, the link itself, li, but now we are targeting a. So with the a, the display should be block, display should be block, and the display should be block. Color, you can say white, color, you can say white, color, you can say white. And what else? The text align, text align, text align should be always sender, text align should be sender, always sender. And then what else? You know, some padding there. Let's add some padding. So padding should be, let's say, give it something like a 14 pixel, and then 16 pixel, 16 pixel. And then text decoration, let it be none. So the text decoration should be none. Also, when you hover, let's make some changes when you hover. So li, and then a, but now with the when you have an extension of hover. So when you hover on it, or when you hover, let's change the background color when you hover. So background color, let's give it something like which color can suit this part. Let me choose anyone, like royal blue. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's now perfect. So then I click Ctrl+S to save, and then here just refresh, Ctrl+R to refresh. So guys, you can see we have our navigation bar. When you have on it, you can see it changes to another color. But now the color is not pleasing, and let me use another color like green. Ctrl+S. So when and then refresh and show you have refresh. So guys, you can see when I have on it, it changes to. But now the background, let me try to change it. So the background, let me use a lighter color, a color that is a bit awesome, right? Not, should be darker, a darker color background. Then Ctrl+R to refresh. So yeah guys, at least this now fits me. So guys, you can see we have created the navigation bar, which is now at least pleasing. But you can as well make go to your HTML using the inline. So this last element, let's make the style type, the style CSS, and then I'll say float right, right, yeah. Then I click Ctrl+S, and then I here just refresh, Ctrl+R to refresh. So guys, you can see we have the about it is at the other end there. So you can also make this navigation bar to be static, have to be fixed, actually fixed. So so the UL, and then I here you can see position, you can make it fixed. So Ctrl+S to save, and then I here refresh. So when I try to say fixed, it brings errors there. So Control plus R. So guys, I guess this now marks the end of this video. So I really appreciate you for the precious time. So guys, let's meet in the next video, but for now please subscribe to this channel, like the video, and also share to a friend. Soon we are going to have a project. We are going to create a simple website with the HTML and the CSS alone. So share to someone so that we may be on one page. But I really appreciate so much for the precious time that you have given me, and also for the support you are giving me. So thank you so much guys. I'll see you later. Thank you.